Hey, welcome back to Leading Edge. Good to have you along. We continue to find it fascinating how the pandemic touched on or changed really our lives in ways that maybe we'd never expect and continues to do so, frankly. Take recycling. You know, all those packages that have been delivered to your front door, they leave a lot of cardboard behind to be recycled. A bunch of us took on home projects during the pandemic, and that involved some form of metal. What do we do with all of that? And that's what brings us to this segment today on Leading Edge. Head out Central Avenue. I mean, out there in the 8,000 block, you're out there near Centennial. You're going to find this huge facility that houses a massive metal recycling operation. It is Kripke Enterprises. And Matt Kripke joins me. Matt, good to see you. I love these overnight success stories that actually started 3 generations of Kripkes ago. I mean, your dad, your grandfather paved the way. And from what I read and hear, from some pretty humble roots. So tell me how that family history affects what you do even today at Kripke Enterprises.
Well, first off, thanks for having us here today. We appreciate it. Yeah, my grandfather, Sherwin, started with, like a lot of people in the scrap recycling industry, metal recycling. He started with a very humble beginning, driving a truck and going to places and saying, can I take your metal and get it recycled? Fast forward many years later, my dad started our company in 1993. Larry, I joined him in 1994.
Right.
And we now have 3 locations. We have here in Toledo, one in Jackson, Tennessee, and one just outside of Boca Raton in Florida. And we have about 65 employees. And we recycle all kinds of metal here in Toledo, but we are one of the largest aluminum recyclers in the United States.
And that was part of the acquisition of the firm I know down in Tennessee. And you anticipated my next question, what kinds of metals? You're saying everything. My next question, who does out here? Who is it that's doing the recycling? Anybody?
So you have a number of different types of recycling. So industrial recycling, if you think about like in the Jeep plant as an example,
okay.
When they're making a car, they are going to be stamping some parts out. And so you have the skeleton and that metal gets recycled. It gets collected and taken to a place, maybe baled up and recycled. Out where we are mainly dealing with the public who are bringing in, 3-4 bagfuls of aluminum cans that they want to get recycled, or someone who is a farmer that they've ripped out their irrigation system and they want to bring it in and make sure that it gets recycled responsibly and collect a few bucks along the way.
So it can be just about anybody with just about anything. As somebody told me, Jerry, it can be that junk along the side of the road. And we should underscore here that if it is not recycled, a lot of this stuff just ends up out in the landfill. So, correct. I mean, another chapter of this story at Kripke Enterprises is the environment.
Right. My dad used to say we were green before it was cool to be green.
Before it was cool. Yeah, I like that. A lot of folks have felt, as you know, Matt Kripke is my guest here. A lot of folks have felt some financial pain during the pandemic. That's tough. Recycling metal can actually ease some of that burden. Now, I heard a figure, but I want to hear from you. How much cash have you guys turned over to recyclers? Could be Jerry, could be his neighbors, could be anybody else, could be that person with the 3 or 4 bags that Matt was just talking about. How much cash have you turned over to recyclers since, let's say, last fall?
So I'll give you that answer in 1 second, but okay. We opened up this retail arm of our operation in October. We bought this building about 2 years ago. We moved in November of 2019, and then COVID hits in March. And we've got this big building that we were going to fill up with aluminum scrap from all over North America, like we have been doing for years. And things really slowed down with COVID. So our executive team got together and we decided we've got a unique location that there's really no retail scrap collection facility anywhere within about 8 to 10 miles of us. Let's try it. So we opened up in October of last year. And since October, we have paid out over $1 million to people who have brought in scrap. And If you had told us when we opened it up that we would be paying out that much in, for what is in essence garbage to a lot of people.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
to us, it's gold.
Yeah.
One man's garbage is another man's gold. And I would have been shocked, but over $1 million so far.
How about now, let's face it, folks. I know some of you want me to ask this. There are lowlifes out there. Matt, put it this way. I, Jerry, am among the victims of a catalytic converter thief. And there's big money in those things, I read, because of some very precious metals inside. I'm told you guys don't even touch those. Thank you for that. What is in there that's so valuable?
So inside the catalytic converters, they have very sophisticated downstream processing to remove the rhodium, the palladium, the platinum. They're really high value metals that are used to filter out the pollutants and keep the environment clean. That's the positive of that. The negative of that is, of course, people realizing that there's money in it, going underneath your car with a saw, sawing it off, and then taking it to a recycling facility. And the hard part is that if you're a recycling facility that's accepting catalytic converters, you can't tell the difference between one that's stolen off Jerry Anderson's car and one that a guy got in a wreck and he pulled it off himself because he wanted to try to maximize the dollars that he could get for it.
Oh, no, I'm talking dealerships. There is definitely very much a legitimate reason to move these things through the system. And then there are the people that got Jerry's. Another reason I wanted you on, I was looking at whether or not I was on your site. I was looking at whether or not you're hiring, because it seems like everybody in the world is. And I think it said kind of in there that, not right now. And as I dug into it, it's not because business isn't good. I'm told business is great, but because your people stay. And I think you said earlier, some 65 employees, which tends to go to a culture in the kind of things you find in a family owned or family operated business.
Yeah, I'm very proud of our team. We have an excellent HR manager, Emily Fisher, and she does a great job, not just in recruiting, but thinking about retention, thinking about what we can do to make this place a better place to work. We just launched this month a new homeowners program for our staff. So if you're someone who is currently renting and you've never owned a home, we are providing financial education, and we are providing a match to help them with the down payment up to $2,500 towards the purchase of a new home, and then helping them with their mortgage payments for the first 3 years. So we look for opportunities to help people. Frankly, with recycling, we want to make the world a better place,
yeah.
But more importantly for our employees, we want to make their world a better place.
Yeah. Well, that I know is one of your phrases to live by out there, making the world a better place. There's also one that's real simple: get weighed, get paid.
Right.
In other words, bring your stuff in, weigh it up, and get paid. I got to wrap this up. I love local stories, family stories, environmental stories, in this case, economic stories, a cash provider. It hits. You guys are checking a lot of boxes out there. As you know, Matt, I'm real big on community as well. In that regard, you guys do have a community push coming up real soon here in September.
That is correct. So in September, we have partnered up with a program that is affiliated with Cherry Street downtown.
Yeah.
It is called Connecting Kids to Meals. And we're very excited. We're going to raise $10,000 for them. So when people bring in their metals to be recycled in the month of September, they're going to be able to donate a portion of what they would be collecting for their cans or their copper wire or whatever it is they're bringing in.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure that we collect at least $10,000 to help feed kids in this community that need the help.
All right. So what do we want to leave our viewers with? Let's do this. They're interested now. There's metal that they know of now and didn't know what to do. Where do they start? How can they get paid?
Well, what we've tried to do out here, and we are in Sylvania Township,
Yep.
in a suburb, we've tried to create an environment where it's not intimidating for those people who have never recycled before to come in the door. Someone is going to greet you as soon as you drive in, and you're going to see a friendly face. Probably Evan or Gerard is going to come up to you and welcome you and tell you exactly where to park, where to bring your material. And they'll explain to you what you have, how much we're going to pay you for it, which then you go to the window and we will pay you cash for what you bring in. So this could be a fundraising project for kids.
Yeah. Organizations. Yeah.
Or you can just clean out your garage. Either way, we're happy to help you.
Hey, nice shout out, by the way, to Evan and Gerard right there. That was, that's outstanding. Hey, I want to thank Matt Kripke, Kripke Enterprises. I think this is an incredible story. I'm told if you get out there, and I do want to get out there, you go in there and you could, I don't want the old phrase, eat off the floor, but I mean, it's a recycling place and it's clean out there. But I want to thank you, Matt Kripke, for keeping us on the leading edge of a success story, and yes, surviving the pandemic and helping others to do the same, all while helping the environment. Continued success to you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome to come out and visit anytime.
I'll look forward to it.